Hey, this is Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure bringing these videos. Today is March 30th, 2021, Carlsbad, California. So today we're going to talk about no money, no problem. You don't have money. This is video part 4. I'm going to do a 10-part series. I make the videos short because people get bored and they don't want to, they don't want to follow the whole thing. Last video I did was part 3, and that was on a real estate transaction. So the difference between doing a small transaction for just, $500 and doing a real estate transaction for $50 million, it's the same concept. Someone has something they don't want to have. Like the General Motors building. President Trump, back in the day, bought the General Motors building for, I think, $1. You got to go read some of his books. He has great stories. Why? Well, they didn't want the General Motors building, so he bought it for basically nothing. Then he had to put money into it to refurb it. It's worth, I don't know what it's worth, $1 billion today or whatever. That's how people make money that are rich. They buy things for nothing. Warren Buffett's a perfect example. He buys things for 30-40% of what they're worth, 50 cents on the dollar. He buys businesses at a discount. So let's talk about you don't have any money. Forget about the rich guys. And we're going to talk about how I do transactions when I didn't have any money. And when I have money, I still use other people's money. So the movie Other People's Money with Danny DeVito is a great movie to watch. It's one of my favorite movies. Why? Because he makes millions and millions of dollars using other people's money. People that have money, they don't use their money. They use other people's money, right? Apple Computer just sent out a bond, which is basically a loan, at 3.5% and brought in $10 billion. Why? Because they have money. They don't want to use their own money. They want you to give it to them at 3.5%. They're going to make 50% on that money over the next 10 years, that bond, or whatever the hell it went. So let's talk about another transaction. Sorry for the 2-minute rah-rah. On transactions that I have done in the past when I didn't have absolutely any money. I find a guy, another camera guy, and he's on the East Coast. He's got 6,000 cameras. Now, if you watch the other 3 videos, I had accumulated some money from doing no money down deals. I say, okay, I'll tell you what, send the cameras to me. I don't want to pay you in advance. I don't know you, and you don't want the cameras anyway. Just send them to me. Call this guy, check me out. I'm a real guy. Come and send. He sends me 6,000 cameras on his dime. He paid the freight for the 6,000. I get pallets of cameras in. The deal is, if the cameras are okay, I'll buy them for $1, $6,000. I get the cameras in and I sell hundreds of cameras at once. In just a few minutes, I have 6,000 cameras for $6. So now I have all these cameras. The cameras are worth $50,000. They're worth $30 to $50 each. Okay, so $50 is about the average that I sold those cameras for, and I paid $1 for them. How was I able to do the deal with no money? Well, he gave it to me because he wanted to get out of his inventory. Why? Because he was selling big cameras, the $400 and $500 cameras. He didn't want to screw around with the little digital cameras. In order to get the big, beautiful things that he wanted, he needed to take the things he didn't want. So here's the point of the video. People will give you stuff just to get space, number one. People will give you stuff because they don't want to deal with it anymore. Like the example I gave you, the lady was going through a divorce. She wanted to get rid of the real estate. They need space to get stuff out of their inventory, number one. Number two, they don't want it. It's a headache. It reminds them they have bad memories. It was a bad decision. Number 3, people will loan you money short term or just give it to you like on a consignment. And now you have the product. You didn't put any money into it. So I took the cameras and I started selling them. A week later, 14 days later, I sent them to $6,000. Why? I sold a bunch of them right away, wholesaled them out. Sold them in groups of 10 to guys that wanted them, and they wanted to resell them. Those cameras I sold for $30 and $40, they were sold for $95, $79. So I made money. The guy I bought them from got it out of his inventory. He relieved himself of space and the headache of having all these cameras lying around, so he got $6,000 in cash. He owned them outright. He just wanted to get more cash in. He eventually went out of business. That's another story. I made money because I sold them to guys on eBay one at a time, and some of them I wholesaled them out. The guy I wholesaled them to, he resold them again, and he made money. So everybody ended up okay. Everybody ended up making money. How did we do it? I used other people's money. I used the guy that had the inventory, his money. Do you get that? So the purpose of the video is money is basically created from your brain. When you're an employee, you are generating money. Real money is not generated. Real money is created, and you have to have the courage in order to move forward and the commitment to do transactions, even if you don't have any money. This is Mike Addis. That's the camera, no money down deal. I have hundreds of these transactions. I'm not going to do 100 videos, but I will do another one, and I think we'll do part 5. So this is Mike Addis. Use other people's money. Don't forget Danny DeVito.
Okay, let's recap this video. They're all basically the same recaps, but we're going to recap it again. Okay, number 1. You want to find people that don't want something. Like in this transaction, this real estate transaction, lady didn't want it. You already went over the transaction. So that's number 1. You got to find something that somebody doesn't want. Number 2, you got to find it way below the value of what it's worth. In the real estate transaction, we got to buy it for at least 25. I'm looking for 35 to 40% below the market value. That's number 2. Number 3, all these transactions are created out of your own imagination. And then you have to put the pieces. It's like a puzzle. So you got a puzzle, you got to put the pieces together. Say, well, that's kind of difficult to do. Well, that's just too bad. If you want to make money, you got to create the money. Money is created. Number 4, it is not generated. The generation of money is when you go in and you break your ass every day to make a living. That's generation of money. Rich people don't do that. Rich people sit back and smoke their Macanudo cigars overlooking Central Park in New York, and they create the money out of their own brain. Then they have somebody else do all the work. Okay? My money is created. It's not generated. I created it out of just my own imagination. That's number 4. Number 5, you have to have conviction. So all these videos is the courage of your conviction. You have to have a conviction, make the plan, and then proceed with the transaction. You find out it works. It's perfect.
Thanks for joining me on this video. Don't forget to comment, and we will see you on the next video.